Hello, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Savage Samaritan podcast. In this episode, we'll be giving you all an introduction as to who I am. We'll be going over what the podcast is going to be about, and finally, what it means to be a Savage Samaritan. So to start off, my name is Curry Gott. I'm the owner and head instructor of Agon Jiu-Jitsu in New Waverly, Texas. You can find my gym information on Facebook, Instagram, and pretty much all other social media outlets under Agon Jiu-Jitsu. My personal Instagram is CurryGottBJJ, CurryGautBJJ. So I opened the school a few months ago after training for close to 5 years under Daniel Rivas at Team Rivas BJJ in Montgomery. I've had plans to get this podcast going for quite some time. I just, didn't really get around to it, and I announced the opening date of it, and that kind of forces you to be accountable with things, so here we are. I don't want this podcast to be limited to any one topic or genre in specific, so we'll be covering any topic that any listener might want. Just leave a comment or shoot me a message with any kind of ideas you might have, and who knows, you might be the guest for that episode. Common topics you can expect are obviously jiu-jitsu, because that's what I do, mixed martial arts, and martial arts of all kinds, really. But along with those topics, you can expect, any other kind of topic. We could talk about theology, psychology, philosophy, possibly even politics, even though I'm not a big fan of that topic. That is up to you guys. A disclaimer, going to give that out right now. I speak passionately on certain topics. Occasionally, I will curse in this podcast. And if something in this podcast offends you, feel free to reach out. Not saying I'll care, but still, reach out. In the future, you can expect a steady increase in production value as well. I plan on getting production equipment to make better quality content. This one is just going to be sound, but in the future I would like to do video podcasts, so stay tuned for that. The term Savage Samaritan, which has been asked a lot since I announced the name of the podcast, as to what that actually means. It was brought about with the assistance of one of my teammates and good friends, Eddie Pierce. We were talking about what to name it, and we spitballed some ideas, and he came up with the Savage Samaritan. He's always been very creative, so he's the one that I reached out to for that. What it means, though, what I want to bring attention to throughout this podcast and in future episodes is the valuable duality of a Savage Samaritan. Savage, in this case, meaning violent and brutal person. Samaritan, meaning a good neighbor or a good person in general. This to some may sound like an oxymoron of personality traits. However, the psychological duality of this type of person creates an internal balance that, in my opinion, is a recipe for a very good person. To quote the great Jordan B. Peterson here, a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has it under voluntary control. That's something that I heard, I believe, in one of his podcasts a while back that really resonated with me, because a lot of times you see people that, claim to be virtuous and claim to be good people, but they're harmless. And there's a huge difference between, in my opinion, being good and being harmless. In later episodes, we will be diving deeper into that psychology with an actual potential clinical psychologist guest speaker who has an in-depth understanding of that duality. The duality of the violence mixed with being a good person. Being a violent person doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's a common misconception that all fighters are just bad people because they want to hurt people. That's not a thing. Some of them are, yes. In all facets of life, you're going to run into bad people. But I like to think that there are a lot of fighters out there that are not bad people, that are good people. They just love violence. So I'm going to end this here. This is really just a introductory episode to show you guys kind of what everything's going to be about, how it's going to come out. I plan on doing episodes hopefully bi-weekly, but no promises on that. Definitely weekly at this point. Like I said, if you have any comments or questions, anything you'd like covered, or even if you'd like to be a guest, just reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do. So I hope you all like this introductory episode. Stay tuned for the first full-length episode that hopefully I'll be releasing soon. Stay violent, and more importantly, stay good.